Hi, Steve Elliker here, your Living Life on Purpose coach. This is my third video on self-worth and negative thinking. Previously, in my first video, we focused on the relationship between how we think and our self-worth. We, of course, have innate self-worth that is lost and hidden by our negative thoughts and limiting beliefs that distort our view of ourselves. Now, in my second video, I talked about how we can reduce negative thinking by routinely practicing sensory body practices that suppress thinking. Both the mind and body need time for rest and relaxation in a society that is mentally overstimulated. So, in this video, we explore different types of thinking and how negative thinking takes a hold and depletes our self-worth. I will explore methods for dialing down on your negative thinking. Now, I like to compartmentalize thinking into foreground thinking and background thinking. Foreground thoughts are in awareness, whereas background thoughts are just out of awareness, like a tape playing in the background of your mind. Foreground thinking, however, can be intentional and focused, or simply random. Intentional and focused thinking is usually associated with a task of some kind. Now, when we manage our random foreground thinking, this then gives us more access to our background thinking. Almost most thinking is either future-based or past-based, whereas present moment thinking is often focused and intentional without the sadness or anger of the past or the anxiety associated with future thinking. And as a species, we've been thinking for a long time now, so banning thinking isn't an option here. However, channeling and challenging our thinking is an option, and we can do this in different ways. Firstly, journaling, what we life coaches call a thought download. Instead of having a wholly internal dialogue in your head, you can externalize it. And this can bring new meaning to your thoughts. They can become more positive, whilst breathing a sigh of relief that you are venting or offloading your negative thinking. I tend to journal over a cup of coffee in the early morning when I guess my mind is most energized, agile and available. Secondly, we can challenge or reframe our thinking. Thought challenging or reframing is successfully used when we identify a negative thought and then ask ourselves and answer 3 questions. A, is this helpful? B, do I want to think this? And C, is it true? Every time you identify a negative thought, ask yourself these 3 questions. I think you'll find in most cases the answers are no, no, and again no. Now, background thinking is when you have this just out of awareness thoughts which are like a tape running in the background, which will be constantly reinforcing negative beliefs about ourselves. Now, here's the thing. Our brain likes sameness and resists change. If you have a limiting belief that is, say, I'm simply not good enough, the brain must keep reinforcing that belief by filtering out and filtering in only information that supports that early limiting belief. But why though? Let me explain with an analogy. Let's say you're an actor playing a lead role in a new live West End production. You know your lines, You have embodied the character, you go on stage, you play your part with excitement and gusto, with the reward of rapturous applause at the end of the play. However, one evening you arrive at the theatre an hour before the opening for make-up as usual, and let's say you were told that tonight you're playing a different but equally important role in this West End production. What would your reaction be? Would you feel happy or anxious about that? Would you be confident of your new lines? And how could you now quickly embody this new character role? It could feel like a bit of a shock. You might experience yourself in a panic and a feeling of disarray, an experience you'd rather avoid if you had the choice. Well, your brain does have the choice, and yet chooses to keep maintaining sameness and avoid the shock or discomfort of taking on board any new thoughts and beliefs about yourself. You see, your brain doesn't care. It really doesn't care if your new belief is positive and beneficial. It just wants the same. It wants sameness. The brain has this instinctive neurological mechanism that enables you to control your life experience and keep you safe. So manage your thinking by journaling and challenge your thinking with reframing negative thoughts. And perhaps with practice, extend this to managing past and future thinking. Invite your brain into the timeless present moment. In my next video, I will show you how to discipline your negative thinking. We will talk about the critical parent or inner critic and an interesting way of managing the critical parent in your mind that is responsible for disrupting your natural self-worth. We will dial down your critical parent and live your life on purpose.